family. This is Mass Kwesi. Go hard Gambia, go hard Africa. I'm here again today, and today we're gonna. It was brought to my attention a few days ago, probably a little bit over a week now, that uh, Kagala Briges, who is this is a Juliet Ryans. If anybody know me and been following and things like that, know that I started off with Blaxit in the Gambia several years ago, and we had a not so nice parting of the ways when I went on to work with another young lady by the name of our Kathy. And this is all of this. It's been about 3 years now since I started. That I came out of my compound there in the Gambia, West Africa, and started, working in the repat community. Before I came out of my compound, I stayed in my compound about 2.5 years. This is all pre-COVID. No one was there. I went over there in 2015. Check my YouTube channel out. You'll see videos from 6, 7, 8 years ago. I was really the first one that you guys probably know of and heard of that had a YouTube channel over there from diaspora, but I wasn't really into it. But in any case, I heard that Juliet, her significant other, had got shot. And this is the first thing that came to my mind. What happened? Someone being shot over in Africa, is definitely a major concern for me, and I would hope that it would be a major concern for you all that are watching on. So what we're hearing is that there was or what's being shared is that there was a robbery attempt, and in this attempted robbery, the guy, her significant other, as she called him, because she's been soliciting donations, and like I said, someone brought it to my attention. And when we hear of something like this, someone being shot in Africa, that really changed the whole dynamic of Africa being this safe place that we're being told that it is. In my experience, it is a safe place. In my experience, I've been over there many years. Never heard of anyone being shot until recently. There was an incident in Gambia where 2 police officers were shot and killed. This was about a month or so ago. 2 police officers in the Gambia were shot and killed. Okay? Prior to that, I don't think there was any incidences in years of anyone being shot and killed outside of some type of military action or military coup and things like that. It's just unheard of for someone to be shot. But in any case, we are hearing about Perspective, and his name is Perspective. And I want the people out there that's watching, you guys can kind of chime in, because this, if you're watching this, obviously is something that that you're in the loop, or you're in these YouTube streets, as they call, and it's it should be of a concern of us, and we want to get as much information as possible. We want to get as much understanding as possible of what's taking place. But it's a lot of pieces that have to be put together. Gambia at one time was a place where it was spotless. It was a place where people were looking towards to come. It's the smallest country in West Africa. Very, very beautiful country. A very tropical. The people, it's an Islamic Muslim country, and they call it the Smiling Coast because of the nature of the people, the friendly nature and the warm and welcoming nature of the people. Within recent years, Gambia has got a reputation now of being somewhat problematic. I'll say it being somewhat problematic because it's not the whole of Gambia. It's not the whole of Gambia, and there's 2 million plus people in the Gambia. The repat population is a very small number of people compared to the number of people that are in the Gambia. However, for the people that are coming from diaspora that's looking at the repat community, it affects many of us that have been looking and desiring to relocate to the Gambia, and not only to the Gambia, to other parts of Africa. In any case, Juliet Ryan had became the number one promoter of the Gambia. Walter Maya came, about 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, did a video with her. She talked about, Gambia being a dump, and the video went viral. At that time, Walter Maya helped her start her YouTube channel. Then he made another visit. After the first visit, that's when I met her husband. I met her husband online, and I didn't know who he was. I saw the video because I was at my compound and watching YouTube just a little bit, and I saw her husband at the time, Adrian. Well, when I was watching the video, I saw her, and I really thought nothing of it because nobody wasn't doing too much of anything. People were, it was just a video. But when I decided to network with the repat community, I was going on Facebook and I met a man who I would later find out was Juliet Ryan's husband by the name of Adrian Ryan. Just by complete, absolute chance, nobody was doing anything. Nobody had a reputation at that time. And I met Adrian and I was saying, hey, I'm here in the Gambia. I'm from the U.S. I'm looking to network with some people. And Adrian said, yeah, me and my wife are here, stop by our house. Like I said, this was before any of all of the hype generated around the repatriation movement in the Gambia. So at that time, though, however, me personally, I was working with many Gambians in my compound. I was training for 2 years, 2.5 years. I was pretty much training from my house, and we had a lot of things going on. We were outsourcing, business from the U.S., and I was just, in the house chilling and, building a life, and understanding. I wanted to get an understanding of capacity, and I was outsourcing my business and things of that nature, so I was doing my thing. So when I decided to venture out from my house to, find others within the repat community to work with, I brought with me 4 people. When I eventually, I met Adrian, and I went to their compound. At this time, they were living in right down where Solomon's is. I forget the junction, but any case, I went there, and when I walked into the house, that was my first time seeing Juliet, and I was like, that's the lady that did the video. But Adrian didn't mention any of that because nobody had a reputation, nobody had a name, and it wasn't even worth mentioning. It was just us coming together and networking at that time. Palmerima Junction. And when I walk in the house, I saw Juliet there, and I tell the story. The first time I saw Juliet, she was sitting in the chair, and the chair had broke. And if you're spiritual, I don't know how many spiritual people out there. That was I'm a very spiritual person. I got my blue courts on today, my blue shirt. But when I saw that, like I said, I thought that was strange. It was interesting. But in any case, we began working together for about 9 months, and at the time, everything was new. People were just starting to find interest in the Gambia, and not many people were coming, but we were right at the beginning when many people started to come over in the Gambia, and we were the ones that were supporting those people who were coming. You know, so it was Juliet and Adrian. So in any case, we worked for a while. We started selling land. Early on, there began to be problems with the land. Early on, very early on, the idea initially was to buy a large piece of land that we would own ourselves as a community. So we would set up an escrow, and people that desired to buy land, all of the money that they would send would go into that escrow, right? And then when we found the appropriate land and made sure that the land was free and clear, we can go and we can purchase the land. And then at that time, we can allocate plots to, people who were interested or who had sent money to buy the land. That was the plan. However, what happened was the land that was being sold came from a real estate company that did not pay the capital gains tax. All of this is already known. It's all been on YouTube and things like that. A lot of people, put their faith and trust in this process, only to turn around and then come out and make videos and say, "Hey, listen, we got a bad deal on the land. The capital gains tax wasn't paid on it," and things like that. An issue that we have been seeing all throughout Africa. People jumping into the real estate business and not, following the proper protocols and procedures in terms of acquiring land and just impulse buying. People want to have a piece of Africa, and it turned out, and it produced a situation where hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people just within our small network, end up getting the short end of the stick on these land deals. Any case, the whole prospect of going there and making money off of diaspora really just turned into something that ended up being a very negative thing, because now you had someone who was making money off of selling this land. And if you're selling land and you don't have all your ducks in a row, then after a while you're going to start feeling the pressure from people that who are going to start inquiring or coming into the country and saying, "Hey, where's my land? Where's my land? What's going on with my land? I want to close on my land," or "What's taking place?" And then that's a lot for one person to endure. That's a lot of a burden for one person to have, and having hundreds and hundreds of people. But one of the things that took us down the wrong path, and I say us because this affects all of us, all of our thinking. It was even the people, the ones that send money and things like that. We're all a part of what happened. It affect every single one of us. What happened in Gambia even affected people that wasn't even desiring to go to Gambia because of a capitalistic, individualistic, materialistic, agenda that that most of the people had. Most of the people, and I'm speaking from a place of, being right at the top of the food chain when it comes to people coming into the country. I've hosted. I mean, we've hosted over 100 people in our properties, and I had people come in. The first people that was coming were staying at one of my personal properties. You understand what I'm saying? The first people that were coming through that organization, and then the subsequent organization that I worked with, came through my compound or the vacation properties that we had. So you're talking to somebody that know what they're talking about, knowing what's going on. I've seen it all. You know, I've dealt with the major YouTubers there that's in the Gambia. There was a lot of minor ones that came along that tried to duplicate the process, and this was the problem. You know, the whole YouTube environment is about creating content, but this content was being created around, people building their homes. And if you look at some of my older videos, I talk about that. You know, people, they're creating content and telling you, hey, listen, you can come to Gambia and you can build your house, right? You can build a home and you can have a good life here. Look, I'm doing it. The name of the YouTuber, his name is Kagala Briges, and his name is Perspective, and he works with the Blaxit organization. He has his own YouTube channel as well. But this is someone that, Juliet, her significant other. If you know who Juliet is, I don't know where you are with that, but he's someone that has taken the place of Adrian Ryan, who was, one half of the Blaxit organization. So in any case, he was shot, and in Nigeria, and we've been hearing that it was a robbery attempt, and he got shot. Okay, and this has the only reason why I'm making the video is because I put a poll out there, and 90% of the people feel that we should discuss this and we should talk about it because it's very important, and we want to know, what's going on. And we know that one thing we know is that there's been so many lies that have been, put on this movement. So many lies that, it's not I would say it's not safe. There's no way that we can go somewhere that we're not familiar with, but the people who should be transparent with us, have been lying. And there's many YouTubers, the YouTubers in the Gambia. Like I said, it's a very weird energy, a very wicked energy that we have in the Gambia amongst these YouTubers there, all because of this fame that they have. Okay, places like Nigeria and South Africa are very similar to the United States as far as crime goes. So I know we've been hearing that. And apparently it gets real, because someone that, that we know that has become familiar with us has been shot. Someone that we know that, and been shot. But it seems like we know that there's a lot of scams going on in Africa. We know that for sure. Ghana, I mean, you see it on Facebook all the time. Like, people you may know, you see all of these profiles up there, and all of these fake profiles of women. And most of the time, they're Nigerians and they're Ghanaians that are in these internet cafes, and they create fake profiles and things like that, on top of other things, land scams, and just all types of scams that go on because of the the poverty. There's been huge amount of people that were scammed in the Gambia for land, scammed for donations and things like that. You know, eventually when you have, we've seen we've seen a lot of negative. We've even seen incidences of violence in the Gambia. We've seen a lot of threats of violence towards certain YouTubers in the Gambia, and we've actually my last video I talked about the untimely death of three women, African American women that we know of in the Gambia. Two of them I know personally that I've talked to, and amongst the over 1,000 people that I've spoke to, working for these organizations, the two YouTubers that I worked for, worked with, Juliet Ryan and R. Kathy, I was the business developer and I spoke to the people. So two women, one stayed with us, Miss Beverly. Yes, poverty is one of the main reasons for scamming. If you're out there and you're watching this and you have any information that can help the community, I think it's very important, because most of the people out there will not talk about things that we need to talk about. In fact, they would rather not talk about it because they feel like, hey, if they want to get you and they want to get your money. So if they're talking about things that may turn you off from coming over to the continent, then that's gonna hurt their pockets. A lot of these YouTubers, the only way they're able to maintain and survive over there, the main ones, is because of your support and your donations. And I've always said that that is not a model that we should be promoting, because it gives people a false perception of success and prosperity on the continent. So if I'm here saying, hey, listen, come over here, come to the Gambia, come to Ghana, no, Adrian wasn't shot. Yeah, Adrian wasn't shot, but Adrian, like I said, he was one half of Blaxit. But in any case, this is a scam. We always talk about scam, but we don't even understand scamming and things like that. Uh, this is a scam. If I'm saying, hey, come to the Gambia, you can be successful. Look at me. I'm building my house, right? But the way that I'm building my house is from your donations. Send over money, send over donations. People see that, they want to support that, they want to help it. So the only reason why I'm not, I don't have to work is because I'm getting money on a weekly basis from you. Okay? The only reason why I don't have to work or find some type of income there is income source there is because you're sending over money to get houses built or buy land, and I'm getting a ridiculous commission from that. But I'm telling you, hey, you can come over here and do the same thing. Go look at some of my older videos. I talked about it. We just got to use our common sense. That's not how you build a community. You have to have a real community plan. You have to have a real economic plan for the community. The first thing that we need to address is housing. How are we going to house our people? So in any case, that went on for, this whole land selling idea and people getting caught up in this land situation went on for a long time. And when I splintered off, when I broke off and we started doing, building our community, and we actually we're starting to do things the right way. The first thing that we did is we said, hey, if we never asked for donations, never asked anyone for donations. Miss Art Kathy is not in the Gambia. She left a while ago, but Art Art Kathy never asked for a donation. This is what you guys don't understand. Art Kathy never used any funds that came in for anything for her personal expense. Just minor petty cash that you would have, doing, transportation, taxi, food, but never to build a house. You understand what I'm saying? Never to uh, enrich herself. But in any case, the first thing that, after seeing the issue with the land and the problems that it was creating and the dissatisfaction that it was creating, we said, okay, let's go ahead and get some properties. And this, like I said, it's all gonna come together because we see a lot of misfortune that's taking place. A lot of misfortune was created because of a certain environment that people created. There's a lot of corrupt people in the Gambia, diaspora and amongst Gambians. Yes, Taft, he actually offered to finance building a community, but like I said, the wrong people were representing us, and that thing, Taft City could have been a community for Black people, and I'm telling you, for or people from the diaspora, I'm telling you firsthand, I've been there. Instead of us having our own city, people have a bunch of papers that's worth nothing because they brought land that wasn't fully, that the capital gain taxes wasn't paid on it, disputed land, and all types of nonsense. You guys already know what the situation is, that we are in, or that we find ourselves in. Instead of, having, like I said, a whole community where we can support one another, you know, um, people have nothing, nothing, and no one cares. No one's talking about it. People are still trying to promote the Gambia, promote themselves. Okay, what's this Arab B? Me personally, I like Art Cap because she speaks the truth, whether it hurts or not. Definitely, she speaks the truth, you know. But at the same time, we want to be sensitive of the cultures that we are in because that, causes problems as well. You understand? The type of rhetoric and the way that we talk, and here in the West, you know, it causes conflict here. That's why people are getting killed and everything, and over here because of the way we talk to each other. So we definitely don't want to go anywhere else with that same type of rhetoric. So we have to be sensitive, culturally sensitive, and we have to be, you know, uh, uh, promote the goodwill of our people that's coming over into these countries, knowing that we do not represent only ourselves, but we represent a tribe of people. Abel, how you doing, sir? What's this one? Watermy said Africa getting worse because of African leaders. We can't expect things to get worse, but we can make it better for ourselves as groups. We have to be sustainable. We have to be sustainable. We have to have communities where that are off grid, and they, as individuals, we already know we can't survive as individuals. We have to work in collectives and create sustainable communities that's off the grid to prepare for another pandemic type situation. We should be preparing for those things. We should not wait on government. The government, never in the history of the world has the government helped the people or been there for the people. It's always been self-serving, self-interest, exploitation of the people. That's the history of the world that we live in. That's why we have so many that people that came to Gambia and that got exploited. But if you're wise, which not many of us, have that capacity. If you're wise, you can see your way through this and figure it out, because it's definitely challenging times. When I stepped over onto the continent, I would have never expected the mentality of the people that had found their way to the continent. I'm like, wow. I mean, why would you? But think about it. I mean, I guess it only makes sense. Wherever there's positive, you're gonna have a bunch of people that's gonna come and try to destroy it. No matter how far. Wherever there's opportunity, you're gonna have people that's gonna come and try to exploit it. Wherever you have peace, you're gonna have people that's gonna come over and try to bring destruction, and that's what we saw in the Gambia. Okay, Jim, just flying through. I so respect and appreciate your vision. You do have a vision of a better future, a better tomorrow for Black people in Africa. Keep safe. All right, thanks, Jims, for that comment. And we all have a responsibility. We all have a responsibility to stand up as brothers and sisters in the face of adversity, in the face of slander, in the face of defamation, and maintain our integrity. We a lot of people got burnt, man. A lot of people lost, in the Gambia alone, and you hear the horror stories coming from all over Africa, where people are going and they're looking and buying land, and they are, their dreams are turning into nightmares because we lack the proper organizational understanding of what need to be done. We're going into Africa as individuals. Even if you go in as an individual, you can build a small, sustainable community. If you go in as an individual, you have to integrate into the culture. You have to integrate and surround yourself with within families. I know that was a part of the first the repatriation movement when the former Yahya Jammeh was in power. A part of, I think they were in the process of doing citizenship and giving people citizenship. But one of the things was that when you come, you adopt a family, something like that. That's the only way it can be done. If you're going over there and you by yourself, you're going to be exploited. You're going to be taken advantage of. You're going to do things that's going to, be detrimental to your own self, because you don't know and you don't understand the culture. There's certain things that you don't do. You don't, especially the way that we think and we operate here in the States. We definitely don't want to go over there and try to duplicate that. Many people have failed. Many people have lost. Many people have returned home to the West. So, any case, we are seeing, we're seeing violence being, nobody want to see anybody get hurt. Okay? If you're out there and you're promoting, and then everybody have all of this respect for you, and everybody have all of this admiration for you, and all of this goodwill towards you, and supports you and things like that, and then we hear, oh, this person got shot, or your husband got shot, or your wife, or something like that, then we're like, hey, listen, something's wrong, because it's not happening to everybody. You understand what I'm saying? But these roles that we have, they are very, we have a major responsibility in our roles, as leaders, and and people who put themselves out there. If you go up here and you make a YouTube video and you're addressing the public, you have a responsibility. It's not just about you, but you'll find a lot of, most of these YouTubers, they are trying to, and they get burned out quick. You know, they're just trying to make money off of YouTube. They're trying to become popular and things like that. They want people to know them. They want to be a celebrity and stuff, and they don't have any real content. I spoke last week about some deaths that took place in the Gambia. Two of the women actually stayed at our B&Bs. Beverly stayed with me for several months. Miss Beverly Allen, and she passed away. And Beverly may have had some health conditions, but even then there was two other people. There was two other people, two other women that passed away, and the circumstances behind it, all of this stuff needs to be researched, investigated. These deaths aren't even being reported to the U.S. Embassy. That's what I'm understanding. That's what I'm hearing, and some research have to be done in that. But the crazy thing is, nobody cares. You understand what I'm saying? We're not doing the right thing to support one another and have each other's back. A lot of people that came over, they say if you strike the shepherd and scatter the sheep. Okay, so if you have somebody saying, hey, we need to buy land, buy a community where we can have a gated community. Instead of everybody having a wall around their property, we can have one big wall around the whole property, and we can have brothers doing security. Just like Taft City got. The same thing. We got to follow the model of the people that's doing it. And then if someone is sick, then or needs support, then we can check in on you. We can check in on you. But if you're out there by yourself, we've had many repats get robbed. One of the ladies that passed away, she was robbed. Some of the videos she talked about, she said she was in the lion's den. So she was saying she was given a lot of indication that there was something nefarious that was just brewing or taking place behind the scenes. Okay, I'm talking a lot of times. I don't get on YouTube because, if I get up here, it's gonna be a real conversation. It's gonna be a real conversation if I get up here. Now we're seeing a lot of violence and a lot of death surrounding our community in the Gambia. We saw a lot of negative. And during the time of this negative, I was saying to myself, it's not going to be long before we start to see more tragedy take place. Being someone that came up in conflict, you understand this and you see this. You can see it coming. People coming over with the highest level of self-hate and looking to put that on the next man. Just hating. People come, they want to be like you. You understand what I'm saying? They want what you got. They got a lot of jealousy in them and things like that. Grown men. So we have to be very careful, for those who are deciding to go over to the continent. How old am I? I turned 50 years old this year. I've been on this planet a half a century. I've been in the Gambia for My first time in Gambia was 2015, so eight and a half years. I decided, and when I first went, I knew that's where I wanted to be. There's so much opportunity that is there, so much opportunity, but we can't allow false promises. We can't allow false representations of success to drain the little bit of lifeline that we have in us. So many people lost. So many people lost on land. So many people lost in business over there. Easy. But if we were together, if we brought all of our energy and all our resources together, then the promise, that is the promise. The promise is to be producers, not to be consumers. So a lot of people are coming over and they're starting businesses that aren't manufacturing businesses. We have to manufacture. We have to offset the imports that are coming in. That's where the money is. The money's not in, doing a restaurant. The money's not in doing a secondhand store. The money's not in, doing a lot of these businesses that bring us into competition with our local brothers and sisters. Unless we're empowering them, start a transportation company, start something, import export, support the restaurants and things like that. But we need to be thinking about making the food that's going to go into the restaurant, and agricultural waste, agri storage, agri processing, billions of dollars of there's billions and billions of dollars of waste that could be harvested and made into products, food items, right there, laying on the ground every season. We need to bring in machinery. One of the things we're going to start doing is, we've been importing and doing textiles and shoes and things like that. We're going to start manufacturing shoes. We're going to start bringing in machinery so we can start actually producing food and manufacturing, getting this agricultural waste and start and producing the food. Everything's been slowed up, but it's not going to stop. It can't stop. We need each other. Africa needs us from diaspora. Brothers and sisters from Africa that was educated in the West, that's returning, and brothers and sisters that were, taken away from Africa, enslaved, educated in the West. Now it's time to come back to Africa. But we have to be aware that amongst our ranks, the majority of the people in the ranks are not with the army. So are we safe? What is it? What's going on? Is there so much wickedness and corruption going on now? We're seeing violence against YouTubers. We already seen a pattern of that. What's going on? Everybody is isolated. We can't even get any truth out of these people. Hey, what's going on? What's taking place? Nor do we even want to chase that. We don't even want to chase that, because we just have to be wise enough to know that, without one another, we are all at risk. We are, our lives are at risk when we're not together. We've seen it already. History repeats itself. Have we not learned enough here in the States not to make the same mistakes, in our attempt to go to Africa? You really have to be humble. You really have to be humble in order to, make it on the continent. Because you're already going to be seen as someone to be taken advantage of. That's just the way it is. That's just the mindset of someone that don't have. When we come into these economies and markets, we have to empower the people in a way to make them self-sufficient and not dependent. So it was very it was very sad to see. And in the past, me just being the person that I am, a lot of hate was directed towards me and my former business partner and what we were doing from our other brothers and sisters that wanted to benefit by dismantling our what we were doing, because everybody knows, no secret, that we started to become very, very popular in what we were doing because you had two real people at the end of the day. You don't understand what I'm saying? It is what it is. You had two real people, Art Cathy, Mas Kwesiboyd, that was really about empowerment, really about helping our people and doing the right thing. At one time, I think, let's see, hold on. We were getting hundreds, 5, 6, 700 subscribers a month in the Gambia. The YouTube channel went from 200. What is your NFL team right now? NFL? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know what NFL mean. I don't watch any TV. I don't watch any sports. I know what NFL mean, but I'm telling you, I don't. I'm not the type of person that watch sports. So you might want to go to another channel for that. You know what I mean? I never played sports in school, nor did I even care about sports. You know, I'll peek at it, during the championship or something like that. But I'm a person. I'm more into building. I'm more into building, and that's what I do, and I'm happy with that. So in any case, we are definitely seeing a lot of suspicious death. We are seeing violence taking place with people that are a part of the movement. On top of that, we're seeing a huge number of people that are going to the continent, that have to turn back around because the proper support system is not in place. People are looking for ways to make money on the continent. There are no jobs there. We have to produce in terms of manufacturing. That's the only way we're going to make money. We have to supply the stores. We have to supply. We have to bring in machinery. We have to produce clothing. We have to produce, food. Those two areas by themselves will generate income for our, for our community and those individuals that are looking to go over. We have to create districts and small communities. Like I said, small communities, but there have to be a thorough vetting process. At the end of the day, we have to be able to respect one another, and that's what and for a long time, it's been said that we have to target the youth because the older people are set in their ways, and we're seeing that, and we've seen that. Sometimes I look through the YouTube just a little bit, but it's like it's so sad because there's nobody out there that's really trying to help in a real way. Most of the people will sell you out for money. They'll elevate people that are, hypocrites, defamers of the movement, agent provocateurs, you know, just criminal minded people, pure haters. And, they'll put those people and they'll support those people because, they really don't care. I mean, there's really no integrity in the you know, uh, the larger part of the YouTube community. You know, so it's really, the movement is really for the innovators, the you know people who are entrepreneurs and things like that. People who can see the cup as being halfway full as opposed to halfway empty. I'm coming up on, I tell myself that I'm only going to stay on YouTube for like 1 hour when I get up here. I don't like to just really sit up here and be up here a whole bunch of time. However, I do want to be able to convey a message and be up here in enough time to, relate that message. Okay, who's this? Empath in London. I like that you still have a vision for genuine folks to return to a safe place and the future ideal sustainable community sounds good. It's happening. It's definitely happening. But like I said, the ones that have an ear to hear, you know, uh, the intelligent thinking, that's how we have to be moving. We cannot go over there as individuals. If you build a compound over there and you're isolated and you're by yourself, you really have to be careful because like I said, 3 women passed away within an 18-month time span. Okay? People who have, I know at least 2 of them had property. Okay? So what happens to the property now? And we have to ask that question. Who inherits the property? You going over from the west and you spending 50, 60, 70, $80,000, $100,000 buying land, having cars, investing in business, building your house, furnishing the house, right? Then all of a sudden you pass away. And like I said, we just have to be smart, man. We have to put 2 and 2 together, man. And we really have to think because there's always more than what meets the eye. And we have to be wise and we have to look out for each other. That's why a community setting is the best and the only way for us to go in a foreign country. Now, having a community, that don't mean it have to be all diaspora. A large majority of the community should be the natives. In that community, the single most important thing that we should have there is some type of industrial complex where we're producing, materials, we're producing products, creating jobs for the community. Now you have a situation where, after 5 or 10 years, your house pay for itself. Empath in London, that's true. A mixed community, definitely. That's the whole idea. The idea is not to come and isolate ourselves from the community. It wouldn't be enough of us anyway. You understand what I'm saying? We building the community, and we're moving into a community. It's only but so many of us 70% of the community would be locals. Many of them that that our community would marry into. The sisters that are single and the brothers that are single. Get married. You know what I mean? And we don't have to worry about being singled out. You know what I mean? Now we are thriving and we're going together, as brothers and sisters, in a way that we're really truly contributing and truly supporting. A lot of the land that was sold and given up was from, chief and communities that thought that, we were going to come in and build. It's very sad. It's very disappointing. You understand? It's been so much disappointment because of the way that we move, what we buy into. Everything that glitter is not gold. If you and our people, man, like we got a reputation for being ignorant. I see a lot of people that like I said, would just they see the wrong thing and they want to just be a part of it, man. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to having some integrity and but in any case, we should be a lot wiser now than we were 2 or 3 years ago in this whole process in terms of what we need to do. So the circumstances of what happened as far as this man being shot in Nigeria, of course, we're gonna be a lot more wiser and on point when we're in Nigeria or any of these other countries, because now we know that you know you can get it. You can get shot, you can get robbed, as they're saying. Especially if you're coming over and you're not doing the right thing, you're going to be targeted. And we got to understand this. And they used to tell me all the time, and I always used to just shrug it off. They was like, hey, we don't have guns here, but they have other stuff that they can use to take your life. You understand what I'm saying? So, I'm not saying any of this stuff to put fear in anyone, however, these are the things that are taking place and what's going on. And we should not be, we should just be very aware, because our people are going to come over and they're going to bring drama with them. Like, I'll tell you, like 80% of the people that I've come over, that I've seen come over, have bad intentions. The majority of the people that's coming over, they have bad intentions, intentionally and unintentionally, because we're not working together as a community. So, this is Mass Kwesi, Go Hard Gambia, Go Hard Africa. If you want to reach out to me and you have any questions about anything, I'll freely answer that for you. My email is in most of my videos. If you're on my channel, you can go to and get and send me an email, and let's do something to change to align ourselves with the goodness that's coming, because we all know that we're living in the time of a transition of wealth. But that's not going to happen for everybody. A lot of people are going to, because of their mindset, because the wealth is there. I've seen it. I've seen it. And most of the time, we are blocking our own blessings. Mass Kwesi, Go Hard Africa. Till next video, have peace.